Transfer of Property Act Paper Part 2. B. 1. What is the act of C termed and under the Easement Act? Sorry. The act and termed in the Easement Act is that any reason, any person who is unlawfully entering the into one's property is not allowed to use the right of easement. Easement Act states that an easement is the right which an owner occupies certain land, assesses for the beneficial enjoyment of the land to do or continue to do his work. Something to prevent then and continue to prevent something from being done in respect of certain land, not his own land. 2. Who can sue as per the provision of the Easement Act? 1. The person who owns the property can sue C as per the provision of the Easement Act. It's because on the behest of the owner C is using the property, C is using that particular property. Thus, the owner has a right to sue C under the Easement Act. Long answer. Define mortgage. Explain the kinds of mortgage. Mortgage is the money that you borrow from in order to buy a house or a flat. Kind of mortgage. Fixed rate mortgage. A standard type of mortgage where the interest rate remains the same for the entire loan term. Adjustable mortgage rate. The interest rate of this type of mortgage changes over the life of the loan. Life of the loan. Conventional loan. A mortgage that is not secured by the government and is instead available through the private lenders is called conventional loan. Government-backed loans, a loan that is typically best for borrowers with lower credit score and limited cash for a down payment is called government-backed loans. English mortgage. In this case, the borrower gives the lender the right to sell the property of the borrower default on the loan. This is called English mortgage. Next, anomalous mortgage, a mortgage where the agreement between the creditor and the debtor is so unique that it cannot be classified as a type of mortgage. This is called anomalous mortgage. Next, usufructory mortgage, where the borrower of the gives the lender possession of the mortgage property. This is called usufructory mortgage. Provision of doctrine of lis pendens. The doctrine of lis pendens is a legal principle that gives the court the power to control that the subject of the lawsuit. It prevents the transfer of property during the lawsuit to protect the rights of the parties involved in it. The doctrine of lis pendens is based on the idea that a successful conclusion to a lawsuit would be possible if the property should be transferred during the litigation. Meaning of lis pendens is the doctrine of lis pendens is the Latin phrase that means pending litigations. Application the doctrine applies to the immovable properties that is the subject of the lawsuit. That is the subject matter of lis pendens. Effective property transfer. The doctrine prevents the transfer of property without the court's permission. Effect on purchasers. The purchaser of property is bound by the outcome of their lawsuit, even if they are not aware of the lawsuit. Basis. The doctrine is based on the justice, equality, good conscience, and public policy. Location of transfer of property Act. The doctrine of lis pendens is enshrined in Section 52 of the Transfer of Property Act in India. Doctrine of rule against perpetuity. Rule against perpetuity is one of the fundamental principles of property law which governs the transfer of interest in property from the one owner to another. It is complex and something that may be misunderstood. Legal doctrine that limits the length of time of a property owner can put restrictions on the transfer of the property after their demise. The rule against perpetuity is crucial for lenders in loans against property transactions. Compliance with retail through their verification of property tells establishing deals establishing clear owners rights and avoiding potential litigation. The rule against perpetuity is a complex legal doctrine that is based on the several key principles. The first and foremost principle is that perpetuity period, which is important principle, is the perpetuity period after the death of the last identified life in being plus 9 months of gestation. This means that any restriction on the transfer of property must expire within the 21 years of the death of the last person who is alive when the restriction was created. The second key principle is that vested interest rules, which requires that any person of property must vest with the perpetuity period. This means that the interest must either comes into the existence or be certain to come into existence within the 21-year period. If an interest fails to vest in within the period of perpetuity period, it is considered to be void. Thank you.